like a broken record.
How is a $400 pre-made console better than a beastly tower filled with $500 to $5,000 worth of hardware and microchip goodies?
First of all, it's not, and $5,000 is a bit much to start out on, don't you think?
I wasted a bunch of energy arguing why PC gaming was too expensive and why I preferred console gaming. I already established that PC gaming is double the cost of console gaming.
Okay, this is just more or less a lie. You don't need an $800 PC to beat out a PS4. You probably need about the same amount, if not less, maybe a $300 PC to absolutely blow a PS4 and Xbox One out of the water, considering how little capability they have for actual gaming. That's why they have to be toned down whenever it comes to games. It's the same with every console, because they try to fit so much in a little box, when realistically I'd rather have a huge console that can do a lot rather than something smaller. That's just opinion, but I think it would work better for console community. But no, keep going. $800 is a little bit of a ridiculous amount.
Whether you build a cheap rig and upgrade it or build a long-term machine.
Well, realistically, PCs are long-term machines, whether you make a cheap one or not. Being able to play a good game is a general and relative term. Depends what you would be considering playing a game well. If you consider playing a game well, playing it better than console, then yeah, I mean, all PCs are long-term consoles because your performance doesn't degrade. That's just how it is. Now, the only thing that would actually be a PC killer would be dust. But realistically, just every once a month, pop off the side, give it a little blow, and that's good. You don't really have any problems after that. It's literally as simple as that. But if your Xbox breaks, man, you have to get that sent in and really go through all the trouble. Now, you could get it sent in for repairs, which isn't much less than actually buying a new one, but it also takes, 6 months to a year to get your console back. So I think I'll just stick with my PC, where troubleshooting is easy, and my performance doesn't degrade as games get progressively better looking and require more resources that are demanding on the machine. It doesn't matter. My computer will be able to play that from then on, just because the performance does not degrade. That's one of the many great things about PC.
So I decided to cut off the ugly, fat, nerdy head of the PCMR beast.
Stereotyping.
And show you why console gaming is superior to pansy bit rating soldery PC gaming.
Ooh, I am very giddy to get to the meat. This is gonna be fun.
A console comes in one box and can be set up in about 10 minutes.
So do PCs if you get them pre-built. Granted, they cost more because they actually technically charge you for them building the PC and kind of arranging the wires depending on what company you buy it from. But yeah, I mean, I set up my computer at first in just a few minutes because my computer at first was pre-built and ready to go for me. I just plugged it in with a random monitor that I found laying around. It wasn't hard, pretty much the exact same as my Xbox.
And is supported by auto updates in one place.
I hope you do realize, Mr. Eastwood, that something like Steam or Origin or any other program or client that can be used to launch games from and buy and download, that they do auto-update your games, and in a lot of cases, start your downloads for you. You don't have to select the download to start if it's the only one. If it's in the middle of updating something else, it'll prioritize that update first, and then move on to your game. That's how the update system works, on Steam at least. I don't know what you're talking about whenever you say that the Xbox has auto updates, because I know that it does. Sure. But you say it like PC doesn't, which you obviously mean that PC doesn't. But it does.
No compatibility issues like the PC peasants who will bother with trying to use free OSs like Linux.
Oh my god. Oh, it's so funny. PC peasants, huh? I've honestly never heard anyone say that before. But you do realize, hopefully, that the thing that you guys try to hit, usually don't, which is 1080p 60 FPS on your consoles, that's our bottom of the barrel, okay? That is our lowest of low. If we can't get that, then we're not doing very well. You guys have to have your resolutions downscaled for something as large as a TV, where the pixels are already stretching enough at 1080. And you guys have to get downscaled resolution-wise and FPS capped because you can't run it.
PC gaming is all about the games.
Redundant point is redundant.
But mainstream AAA games are being developed for consoles and ported to PCs, and these ports are delayed, broken, or not gonna happen.
Alright, that was a very bad example for him. He just used a clip of Batman Arkham Knight, which is probably the worst example that he could have used for a broken game, a broken PC port. Now, while I do agree, and I think everyone will agree, that Warner Brothers did make a very, very shoddy PC port for Arkham Knight, they fixed it. And not like you would think how they fixed it. What happened was... Okay, let me explain this for you, Mr. Eastwood. What happened was, the backlash from the PC community had the game taken off of Steam. Steam, the platform of PC gaming that is all hailed, and pretty much nothing gets removed from there, because they try to approve good games, or games that is speculated to be very high quality. Now, that got removed from Steam, and not because Warner Brothers wanted it to be, because Steam, Valve, the corporate owners of Steam, decided that something like that, some atrocity, like Arkham Knight's shoddy port, being on Steam was unacceptable. And because of this, Warner Brothers went back, and despite the millions they dumped into the game in the first place, they dumped even more money into it to fix it and make a proper port for the PC. The PC community came together and revolted and had this huge backlash on Warner Brothers, and had an entire company that was extremely well known took their game and made them put more money into it. Because we, as PC gamers, have high expectations for games. We don't accept what's given to us unless it meets our standards. That did not meet our standards. Nobody wants to be a Batman Arkham Knight. That is the definition of what you don't want to be. Because they lost a lot of money from that. And they also got so much backlash that they had to recall the game and rework it. That's how much of an effect that PC gaming has on gaming in general. That we can pretty much boycott an entire game, a AAA game, and have them redo the entire game because it doesn't meet standards that they know they're supposed to meet. We don't accept what's handed to us. We get what we more or less deserve as consumers. This is a really uphill battle that you're trying to fight using that kind of footage and referencing that. Now, as for the games that are released later than the console games, if I'm not mistaken, he's probably referencing GTA 5, which was very popular, and that's why I would guess that he's referencing that. I'm sure there are other games that were delayed for PC, but regardless, the reason that it was delayed is because they didn't want to give us something like Arkham Knight. They didn't feel that we deserved something subpar. They waited a year and a half to give us an extraordinary experience, which they did. So I would rather have something that, for example, I can do a lot more things on GTA 5 PC Edition than console players could even dream to do on their console. And it's because of this that these reasons are more or less just not true. They're completely false. While they do come out later, we get them better. And as for Arkham Knight, it's just a really bad example. And I don't know, I want to say that he needs to do more research before he starts talking about something like this. But I want him to realize now that Batman Arkham Knight was changed because of us. What they gave us was not good enough and did not meet our standards, so they changed it because of that. So just let that sink in a bit, and let's continue.
Consoles have the games that gamers want. Real exclusives like Uncharted, Red Dead Redemption, The Last of Us, and Forza, just to name a few.
Those were some good examples. Yeah, sure, I'll accept it, I guess. However, PlayStation has released something, I'm pretty sure it's called PlayStation Now, which is where you can stream your games from your PS4 to your PC, which realistically not everyone can play unless you have it for PS4 and a PS4, but in a way, doesn't that kind of bring your exclusives to PC? I mean, in a technicality way, and if we're not talking technicalities, PC also has a lot of great exclusives, the kind that you guys can never fathom, because you can't run them, you can't handle them, you can't just pop them in and play them, because they won't play. Because of this, it's just really sad, because exclusives, just, I don't know, I just feel that they shouldn't be a thing, and they shouldn't be something that you should be proud of for your device of choice. And I feel like it's because of exclusives, and because of some really just not acceptable behavior by a few of the PC community that thinks that their computer is godlike, and is, but that's the PC Master Race, and realistically, I am PC Master Race. Just kidding. That entire thing is a joke, but there are some people who take it seriously and just give it a bad name. So it's more or less a joke, but for those people, they are the living embodiment of it. They're a rarity, to say the least, and I don't understand why people, talk to a few people and then think, hey, this is how they all are. It kind of goes back with the pricing, because PC Master Race is really just people who have very expensive PCs that think that they're the absolute best and the elite of gaming. And I guess it's true to a certain extent, sure, but they take it way too far. And realistically, we have a bunch of exclusives, you have a bunch of exclusives. That's how this works. We have games that you probably want. I know when I didn't have a PC, there were a lot of games that I saw that I really wanted to play, but I couldn't because I had a console, and they were specifically PC exclusives. That's the problem. If all exclusives were available, which they can't be because of hardware restrictions on console, that would be awesome. Plus, it would give developers and companies more money, since PC is more or less the golden of gaming. The community is so large that it's hard to not make money whenever you put a game to PC, especially if people want it and like it, because people will buy it. That's my opinion on the matter. People can have different opinions, but realistically, if people want it, and if they really want it, then they will buy it if you port it, which will make you a ton more money than you can think about. It's kind of ridiculous that people don't port some games over to PC, because they should. They would make more money, be able to produce more games that are higher quality, and just be able to do a lot more. And that's just my opinion on the matter. So let's just keep going, I guess.
On consoles, all of your games are in one place with one flick of the controller. You're not clicking around to different places to connect to your games and its social features. On PC, you've got to go to your desktop icon, Steam, Battle.net, EA Origin, Uplay, or GOG Galaxy, just to access your entire library. Some games can be moved over to one place like Steam, but why should you have to install 5 different programs just to buy or access a game?
Well, you do have a point, Mr. Colt. The thing is that you literally just listed off 5 different clients that you can buy and install games on. It's your personal choice. It's your personal computer. I don't understand what you don't understand about this. Is that your PC is your personal rig. No one controls what you do to it or what you put on it except for you. And because of that, you can have all these things. And that's the beauty of something like Steam, is that you can put things that aren't on Steam, even in HTML or Notepad, as a game and launch it from Steam. That's awesome. I don't know how else you could do that on console, mainly because you can't just add something like that, because it's all there. And yeah, it all being there sounds really good, doesn't it? But it has nowhere near the amount of customability and personality that you can give your Steam, for example. For Steam, you can install interfaces, different kind of GUI looks. Mine personally isn't the default skin for Steam. Mine's Steam Metro. It's a lot more cleaned up, and it looks better. I mean, look at this. And as you can see, all my games, a few of them like Overwatch and World of Warcraft, are not from Steam, and you can't find them. Those were added as non-Steam games. And I don't understand why you wouldn't like this, but that's my example, and you can even see that there are some games downloading. I don't understand the point that you're making whenever you say that things don't auto-download, and that things do not, and that you say it like they're almost... You talk like all the games aren't in one place, but they are. And I feel like that's where you're really getting this wrong. So maybe try and get some experience with PC gaming before you bash on it. It's kind of like, the saying that a lot of people use, which is you can't bash it until you try it. How about you try PC gaming with at least a decent PC, aka $300 to $400. You will probably enjoy it. And if you don't, well, then guess what? All those parts you could probably get a deal out of and sell them back for more than you took them at, especially if you wait to build your PC and wait for all the parts to really go on sale, because that happens a lot. And if you wait for your parts to go on sale, you can build your computer for a lot cheaper than you might think. You can buy a pretty mid-tier PC for the cost of a kind of low to mid-tier PC, aka $400, and you could get a pretty high mid-tier PC. That's the thing, is that you can get sales on something like Newegg, where you can build your stuff the personal way that you would like it, with anything that you want. That's the beauty. That's what you're not understanding here, is that you can do anything you want to your computer. But if you do anything you want to your console, either your warranty is voided, or you just simply can't. I the reason that it's a personal computer is because it's personal to you. It's an Xbox and not personal. That's the beauty of personal computers, is that no two rigs are the same unless they are bought from the same manufacturer at pretty much the same time, because the manufacturer, chances are, will upgrade as more parts come out and become more available. The computer that I purchased for very cheap is the same price, but it does have more stuff in it. That's the thing. It has better things than it used to, because things have gotten cheaper, because things have progressed more. That's the beauty that I don't think you're understanding here. And you need to understand this before you make a video like this. That's why the ratings aren't so good. You guys can go to the video and look at the dislike ratio compared to the likes, and you'll be astounded, because this guy obviously didn't do his research, which is very bad for making one of these videos.
And that reminds me of the social feature. It's all disjointed on PC. On consoles, we're connected to all of our friends and their activity and progress in all of our games. We are connected with one chat hub without using some third-party program or different TeamSpeak app across different games, or having to use Skype just to party up with someone in a game. On console, you can chat with someone during a game right there from the controller without minimizing the fumble with the desktop.
Party? I'm gonna ask you a couple of questions, alright?
Okay.
So, just to confirm, this is within Steam, right? This isn't a third-party application, like Skype or TeamSpeak?
Yes. It's Steam.
Okay. And I can see all my friends just right here in front of me without having to go anywhere while in-game, right?
Uh-huh.
Alright, thanks.
An argument that I get a lot when PC gamers realize they can't beat a $400 console is the cost of Xbox Live or PS Plus.
You peasants have to pay for multiplayer access. That's $60 a year.
And is a very valid point.
That's an easy one to combat. And actually, I can quite simply turn a $400 console into a free gaming machine. Let me explain. You pay for a year of Xbox Live or PS Plus, and that costs you $60 a year. Now let's span that cost over the life cycle of these current gen consoles at 6 years. That costs you $360 to access multiplayer gaming for the time you own your console. But they give you 48 games per year through the monthly program, which means you'll add about 288 games to your library for that 6 years. The games are priced at their current marketplace value and are about $50 worth of games per month, times 72 months for the console lifecycle, and you can see that you get $3,600 for the $360 you spent to access internet gaming.
But Colt, no one likes those free games. Even you have made videos making fun of the selection of free games you get.
But here's the best part. Out of those 48 games you get for every free year, you only need to like or want about 8 of them to cover the cost of your $60 access fee. Another thing that
I know. That was a lot to sit through, and I'm sorry to put you through that. However, I just figured you needed to listen to all of that to really get this point. What he just said is that you basically get the equivalent of $3,600 a year out of games, but you only need to like 8 of them. Now, how does that make sense whenever Steam has free weekend deals, meaning that you can play online multiplayer, or for whatever reason if you wanted to, and if the game had a campaign, you could play that for free over the weekend, usually from Friday to the beginning of Monday. Alright? And you can play, it's just the full game for free. Now that only lasts a weekend, sure, but it's your typical play, test, maybe buy if you like it. However, that's not really what matters here. What matters is that he said that you need to like 8 of them. I got Borderlands 2 for $1.29. and I got Payday 2 for $2.50 or $2.49 because there's no taxing on games bought over the internet unless you live in a state that taxes you for buying online, which mine does not. So think about this, okay? I spent less than $3 for 2 older AAA games. AAA games. What games do you get that are on there? Indie games that don't matter very much or that aren't very extensive. Now, I will say that on my Xbox, I do have something. I do have Sid Meier's Civilization. It is not like any of the, 5, like it's not Civ 5. It's an older cartoony looking one, and I enjoy that game a lot. I guess I just have a real knack for RTSs like that. I don't know, that game really drew me in. However, no one ever played it, so I couldn't ever play it unless I played it against computers, which was, in my opinion, too easy, especially once I knew what I was doing. And that's the thing, is that we can get AAA titles, okay? I'm waiting for a specific game called Arma 3 to go on sale, to which chances are it's going to go $50 less. I did not mean $50. 50% less than original price. That will be during the fall sale, which is coming up soon. Okay? Whether it's going to be in fall sale or not, I don't know. But even if it's not, then oh well, I'll probably get it anyway. But if it is, chances are it's going to be 50% off. Because it's not really an older game. I think it was made in like 2013 or so. But the game looks beautiful. A lot of people play it. And I'm getting a AAA game for $20. Okay? This game is a AAA game for $20. And you guys get indie games for free. Bravo. Well, you guys only need to like 8 of them. Why don't you just get games that you know you'll like, or full AAA games for barely anything compared to the original price? Payday 2 is $20. Got it for $2.50. Borderlands 2 is $20. Got it for $129. It's as simple as that. Congrats, you get $3,600 worth of games when we probably save more than that for sales. And we're not even talking about the 4 seasonal sales. There's also weekend deals that sometimes happen. There's so many sales that happen all the time on Steam and sometimes do target specific developers. For example, I believe there was one that targeted Bethesda, where Skyrim was like 75% off. I didn't get Skyrim, I probably should have, but I didn't. Either way, that game, like, I'm pretty sure Skyrim was just like a few bucks. It was insane. But you guys can't get that kind of a deal. You can't get what we get, because you guys don't get AAA games like that. And if you do, it is very, very rarely. Maybe 6 times a year. Alright? So saying that chances are the games over the year is about $30 worth of games per month. Yeah, I guess I could see it, maybe. But that would also be a $15 indie game, which I don't believe. Most of the indie games that I've gotten are maybe $5. And the ones that I've seen are mainly $5. The only real game that I would even consider good or like a AAA game was Sleeping Dogs. I remember Sleeping Dogs, which was probably just the biggest waste of money. Either way, I was not able to get that game. But it's okay, because, oh well. Either way, the sales just don't compare to your pity free games. In fact, I'm guessing that's the only way that they could keep you guys really getting Xbox Gold or PlayStation Plus, because there's no benefits. They're just making you pay for something that you already pay for. Internet connection. That you already pay for. Electricity. It's kind of stupid that they charge you, and saying that it's okay because we get free games, yeah, but at the same time, Steam has a lot of free-to-play games, And some of them are extremely popular and even have competitive communities behind them, like Team Fortress 2. I can definitely tell you that I would have more fun in that game than in, for example, Civilization. I love Civilization. I love RTSs. I really do. Have I ever played one on the PC? No. Do I want to? No. So I'll just go ahead and throw that out there. Because sometimes people like to refer to the PC as the platform for MOBAs and RTSs, but realistically, the only real RTS that I can think of off the top of my head are the Civ games. And realistically, that's just one series. I'm sure there's a lot more, sure, but I really haven't seen any that are really popular. And MOBAs, it's not constant MOBA spam, because everyone who tries to do it really can't compete with League of Legends and Dota 2. There's Smite, which I like. I don't like MOBAs, really, but I guess that's just my opinion. But there are a few. Yeah, sure. There's quite a few. I could say that for anything. There's quite a few FPSs for PC. There's quite a few FPSs for console. There's not a lot of RTSs on Steam for PC. There's not a lot of RTSs on consoles. That's just... It's the same thing, but consoles just can't handle other things, like the Civ games. Or the newer Civ games, I should say. That is why, Mr. Colt, that is completely, pretty much irrelevant, is how much you can get, because we can save more from sales. And we're talking AAA games. It just doesn't make sense why you would not want this. But hey, you know what? Keep going at it. Let's see what else you have.
Consoles have over PCs is the freedom to buy, sell, loan, borrow, and trade games. Now, I know Steam has incredible sales on old washed up games, and you can use shady Steam code sites. And on PC, you can steal all your games. But I can buy a game day one for $60, play through it and sell it for $45 to $50. PC gamers can get games for $15 to $20, but they have to wait until the game is stalled out for a year or two.
I'll get to how that last bit was incorrect in a moment, but let's first start at the beginning of what he said. You can trade, borrow, and play other people's games. Yes, that is true. But you know what? Guess what? That person who I used for reference earlier, Party Lion, yeah, I have some of his games on my Steam account. How do you do that? It's called family sharing. You're technically he's not my family, but he has logged in to his Steam account on my computer and has authorized me on his Steam account as a family share person. And I've done the same to him, so that he has stuff like Advanced Warfare, but he doesn't want to pay for it. And this only works for games that are authorized by the developer, sure. But most developers do that, because why not? There's no reason not to. If someone wants to play a game and they don't have it, they don't need to have it. They just have to have a friend that has it and is willing to let them log in using something like TeamViewer, or just telling them your username and password, which I would not recommend. I would rather use TeamViewer and type it in myself. But I guess everyone has different opinions on that. Now, another thing is that, here we go, the big P word, piracy. The thing about piracy is that I don't think you realize the small amount of people that do pirate, and I don't think you realize that whenever people do pirate, chances are it's not a lost sale for the developer of whatever program or game that you're getting. Because, here's the thing, I don't endorse pirating. Have I pirated in the past? Of course. Was it a game? No, I would never do that. It was actually what I'm using to edit this video, which is Premiere Pro and Photoshop. I mean, in my opinion, those are way overpriced and kind of ridiculous to buy. Now, if I would have actually had the money to buy it, yes, I would have bought it. If I had money to buy these things, I would not pirate them. Will I probably buy it in the future? You know what? Maybe. Because I do want to support developers, and I would way rather buy something than pirate it. Now, if I don't want to buy it, or, well, if I'm not going to buy it anyway, and there's a pirating option available, it's not a lost sale, because I wasn't planning to buy it in the first place. If you're not planning to buy something, but can get it free, they're not losing a sale, especially if you're going to buy it in the future, probably. If I keep using Premiere Pro like I am, and I eventually get the money to where I can buy it and still have a good reserve left, then yes, I will buy Premiere Pro and Photoshop in a heartbeat. But until then, I'm going to have to use the pirated of it. I would buy it in a heartbeat, but until I get the money for that, unfortunately, I am going to have to use the pirate. And guess what? Console people pirate games too. Surprise, surprise. Yeah, plus, pirated games aren't very good, because if an update comes out, you're screwed. You can't update the game. You literally can't. And chances are you're not going to find a more updated version of the game until a while later. Now, hitting his third point, which is, yeah, usually we have big sales, I addressed this in my last point, that chances are that they will go on sale in the next seasonal sale. If a game comes out right before a seasonal sale, it doesn't matter if it's new or not, it's going to be in that seasonal sale more than likely. And the thing about the free game weekends is that usually they pick newer games. In fact, I'm pretty sure I saw on Steam that that Advanced Warfare was going to be free this weekend. I did not mean Advanced. I meant Infinite Warfare would be free this weekend to play, to see if you liked it. And if you did, buy it. That's the beauty of Steam. And yeah, it might not go on sale for another half a year, but it doesn't matter. You can have fun playing your games and buying them at $60 when we get to try them for a few days and see if we like them. You guys have to gamble, we do not. That's the beauty. And we're not talking about watching a video or a review. We get hands-on experience of it. And that is so important to playing games. And console just doesn't have that option. It's really too bad. It kind of puts me in a bad mood, because I wish console had these options that we have, and they don't. But they don't get them because they have very underpowered systems, and I feel bad that they don't get them. I wish they could, but unfortunately, it does not look like that is going to be the case anytime soon, even with the Scorpio coming out. Now, I'm not going to blame this guy for not mentioning some things that the Scorpio might have, because this is a good while old, and the Scorpio has only really recently been brought to light, and this was made a long time ago, like a year or two ago. So, can't really hold anything against him with that. I'm glad he's not one of the people who want to defend the Scorpio, who probably won't do their job. But that's really all I have to say, is that none of these are really downsides. Piracy isn't a problem. The developers weren't going to lose a sale anyway. We get free weekends, and chances are a sale in the next seasonal sale, not after a year of the game being whitewashed. And we can family share our games so that whoever we share it with has access to it. And the thing with that is that you can have up to 5 computers authorized. So you can share your games with 5 other people. And there you go. That's really all I have to say on this, because it's kind of a ridiculous point to bring up. And if he thinks that it's irrefutable, he's wrong, as he has been for the rest, for the entirety of the video. But, I guess we'll keep going, and I will keep debunking everything that he has to say. So, yeah.
Games on console look better as the console ages with no upgrades. Now this is the opposite for PCs. A good example is to look at Halo 3, a near launch title for the 360, and compare it to Halo 4, As games become more advanced, PC gamers have to lower their settings as their machine ages beyond the newest advancements in game design, all so they could boast 60 frames per second on a 20-inch monitor.
Okay, so I want to get this cleared up as quickly as possible. So, here's the thing. That is incorrect. Yes, we might have to turn down our settings after a few years. Probably around, 7, 8 years, maybe. Unless we don't have that good of stuff. For example, I have a 970 that's been lasting me 2 years strong, and I still need to upgrade. This constant upgrading that you're talking about isn't at all true. I've had the same graphics card for 2 years, and I have needed to upgrade my processor. However, it was one of the more expensive upgrades that I've done, but it was also my choice to spend as much as I did on it. I have an i7 6700K quad-core processor. Is that an expensive processor? It is. Is it overpriced? Yeah, a little bit. But I had the money. Well, I didn't really have the money to spend. But this is just generally what I wanted. I wanted something that I could get a lot out of in the end and not have to upgrade. Now, where I did buy my PC pre-built, CyberPower PC I would not recommend buying from them because they do overprice their stuff. I bought my computer for around $350, $400. The parts in there, I bought my computer for around $350, $400, which was just way too much. I should not have had to pay that much for what was inside of my machine. The things that were inside of my machine were pretty mediocre, if I'm honest. I actually need to upgrade my hard drive because it is starting to die a bit. Is that a problem? No, I just have to download the essentials back, like Steam, Skype, or realistically I don't have to do any of that. I have a flash drive that I can save it to. Just drag and drop. It's simple and easy, and I don't understand why people think it's so difficult, especially with hard drives. Because it's not hard. It's not hard at all, and I really feel bad whenever people think that it is hard, because it's not. And that's just generally it. This PC, whether I upgrade the hard drive or not, it doesn't matter. This is going to last for years to come without me having to upgrade it. Will I have to maybe turn down settings? Yeah, sure. Will I eventually get how a console looks? Yeah, sure. After years. And at that point, newer, better technology will be out. And right now, the newest thing is really a 1080 that's the most affordable. There's the new Pascal Titan X, which is completely overpriced by a long shot, but it's an option. But the 1080 will probably be, in 2 years, maybe $400. Actually, that's probably not a realistic amount. Maybe $500. And for a card, yeah, that's still going to be a lot. But guess what? It's $300 less than what it is right now. And I still think the 1080 right now is overpriced. But the 1070, $300. Which is very cheap for the performance that you get out of it. It's actually stupid cheap for what you get out of it. Same with the 1060, that's $150 and can beat out a lot of things. If you were to get that, that is something you would not have to upgrade for years to come. At all. Not even have to touch it. And that's the thing, is that you don't have to upgrade for years. And I mean years. If you want to upgrade, that's your choice. It's optional. You do not physically have to unless something breaks, which is very rare to happen. Extremely rare. And I can't believe how many people think that it's difficult to change out parts even if they do break, and that they break often, which they don't, or that just something generally happens, because usually it does not. And it's a false accusation, realistically, to PCs. It's just not true, and it's been proven untrue multiple times, but we always go full circle and lead back here. And it's really sad to see, because we shouldn't have the divide that we do in gaming community. We're all gamers, we're all generally the same, and it's really bad that we are having to do this kind of stuff. But at the very least, I'm going to keep doing this until they just realize that even if you honestly, truly believe that console gaming's better, just accept that you're the person who is wrong. No matter what you say, everything can be debunked. No matter what. And I'm sorry to say that. It makes me feel really bad because it makes a lot of people mad on console. But that's just what happens. And if you can't accept that, then I'm sorry. But you just haven't. You just need to experience it. And when you do, you'll love it. And that's all I have to say. So let's keep going with this.
The truth is, a lot of console games, even last gen, were 60 frames per second. Most PC gamers are bragging about frame rates and resolution that is squished down to a screen 2.5 times smaller than most console gamers' TVs. That's about as idiotic as bragging about the resolution on your phone being better than a gamer's computer monitor.
Yes, while it is very true that a TV is bigger than a monitor, is that really a good thing? Because, yeah, sure, while you can not really see more because of your FOV, how it's locked on console, but you can't really see more, and it doesn't give you any advantages. A monitor would be a lot better. He used the comparison of a 1080p TV, or something running on a TV at 1080p, or something running on a 1440p monitor at 1440p. Now, here's the thing, is that a TV that is about 2.5 times bigger, as he said, than a computer monitor, yeah, you do realize that 1080p, that TV is not 1080p. That TV is more than 1080p. So what you're saying by that is that you're taking a 1080p game and stretching the pixels out. You're not improving the game. You're not being able to see more. You're just making it look worse by playing on a TV. And the reason that a TV is good to play with on console is because, yeah, it is possible to sit on the couch and play PC games, but you don't sit close to a TV because then you're so close that it's hard to see everything, if you can see everything. That's why TVs are so big, is because you can see everything from back a bit. That's why they have to stretch out the pixels, is to make everything look bigger. However, on a monitor, the pixels are pixels. They are actually properly fit. So if you have a 1080p monitor, even if a game is running at a slightly lower resolution, like Battlefield 1 at 720p, then that's okay. It still won't look like garbage, but 10 or 720p on a TV is going to look pretty bad because of how low resolution it is, being stretched out to fit your TV screen. I don't understand why he can't comprehend this, because, in my opinion, that's just logic and it's common sense. But apparently not, and apparently some people needed that explained to them. I don't know why, but they did. So that's good.
Plus, why game at a computer desk, especially if you've worked on one all day? Console gamers like to kick back on the couch with a wireless controller, a big TV, and their surround sound.
Okay, so you did want to sit at your TV with surround sound on the couch, where it's quote-unquote more comfortable. Then do it. This is 2016. We have the technology to either A, plug your PC into your TV, or there's also other things that are specifically built for it and have SteamOS installed, like Alienware Alpha. That's a console PC. And granted, all consoles are mini PCs, but that's a true console PC. There's a lot other ones that are cheaper than Alienware. Oh god. But the only thing with those is that they might not be as good of quality. Granted, for Alienware, you pay for the brand and not for actually what's inside. But either way, if you want to sit on a couch and game, do it. Go for it. But in my opinion, I do think that if you just simply got a semi-decent chair and just went for it, there you go, just got a good chair and just sat there, it would feel really good. On couches, been proven to fuck your posture up a lot more than a chair, especially a desk chair, and that's just really that. If you want to kick back and relax, do it. Go for it. All the power to you. This is 2016. You can do that if you so choose. And now, boys and girls, I have some ice cream. It's pretty good, you know? Pretty satisfying. I'm such a fat ass. It's so good. Oh my god. Man, this is so unprofessional. Fuck. But it's so goddamn good. Oh. Now that that's over, let's continue.
A wireless controller trumps the accuracy argument about mouse and keyboard, when a shooter is so much more fun with triggers and rumble without worrying about a 6-foot USB cable running in the pathway of your dog or your kids.
Alright, we all knew it would come to this. Time to squash one of the most untrue little bugs that for some reason console gamers think are true. And that is, yes, you might think it feels better like that, but no, it is not more accurate no matter how much you prefer it. It's just not, it doesn't work like that. You can't say because you like it better that it's more accurate. Listen, alright? The way that mice work is you are not restricted to anything but how fast you can move your hand. A controller can only move as fast as you tell it to with a sensitivity setting. That's why controllers are not as accurate and why it's so hard to track people on controller. Except for auto-aim, which basically tracks people for you. You can look at videos, which I will link in the description, that show how much auto-aim is just so cheap to use. And then console gamers think that they're really accurate. I know, because I used to be at fault also of this. I know console gamers, for the most part, some of them might be dead on accurate, but for the most part, no. You can't be accurate on sticks like that. You need auto-aim, or what? Aim assist. I always call it auto-aim. Aim assist to help you, because you can't hit those shots by yourself. Listen, okay? Turn aim assist off and try playing the game. You won't be able to do it. It's really difficult. Alright? You might prefer it. You really might prefer it. I'll be honest. You might prefer it. But in terms of accuracy, nothing can beat a mouse and keyboard. Now, I will say that on a stick for movement, you can get a little more precise movements. You can just barely move the stick so that you're moving at a crawl, which is, good. I wouldn't call it a real advantage. I would rather be going instantly at the fastest speed possible that I can, instead of slowly ramp up, technically. Granted, it's pretty much in an instant that you ramp up. But I would just rather a keyboard and mouse, and that's my preference. Yours could be a controller, and no one is judging you for that. Or, well, no one should be. But as soon as you say that it's more accurate, that's where you're wrong. And you should really... I'm going to link a Titanfall 2 article down in the description. It's not Titanfall 2. I'm an idiot. A Titanfall 1 article. Okay? And what it is there were these console players, best Titanfall players in the world on console, alright? Best Titanfall players in the world. They went to dozens of competitions and destroyed hundreds of players. That's how good they were. They didn't lose. And as soon as they saw a little mediocre PC competition, they figured, hey, let's join and plug in our controllers. They allowed it. So, they did that, and it ended up being a draw because the console guys got frustrated and more or less forfeit, but you can't really... I don't like calling a forfeit, and I don't think the other people did either. They don't like calling a forfeit a win for one team, unless it's a genuine forfeit. But no, the console guys just got mad because one of their guys got disconnected, and the PC guys wouldn't stop playing the game despite that. Either way, the console gamers even came out and said, despite them getting frustrated at the end, when it came to aiming, they got destroyed unless they were at long range. And at long range is really where mouse and keyboard kind of loses the battle, because the small, precise measurement aims is a little, I'd say, harder to do, especially if you play on a lower sensitivity on a controller. Plus, aim assist helps out a bit on your tracking. And that's all I have to say about that. Mouse and keyboard are not less accurate than a controller. It's just not a fact. It's absolutely not. And that's honestly just a fact that people have to live with. I'm sorry, but it's literally just a fact. So stop trying to think that controllers are more accurate, because they're not. And really, let's just see what other fake stuff he has to say.
Consoles can stream without tinkering with third-party apps. PC has a laundry list of settings that need to be tweaked and modified to work with whatever array of hardware and settings you have on your PC. Or, you can load up your console app on Twitch or YouTube and begin streaming in seconds. You can record your clips on your console with the push of a button without having to preload programs or buy expensive capture cards that hamper game performance.
Or, get this. Are you ready? I don't think you're ready for this. Do it one time. A single time. And there are many YouTube videos. Just watch a singular YouTube video on how to do this. It takes 5 minutes tops. Unless you are extremely confused following a video which makes no sense. Either way, 5 minutes. All it takes, one time. And you know what? You probably have to configure out your own settings for streaming too on your console. Maybe not as extensively, sure. But it's one time, and not hard to do it. It's like building a PC. Just watch a video. It's really not that hard. And it shouldn't be considered hard. I'm not a genius because I figured out how to set it up. And as for recording, there's specifically built Windows 10 features that I'm pretty sure is like Windows G, and I'm pretty sure it will give me a list of things, like keyboard commands that I can put in. So like, for example, like Windows G F10, that's just a random one that I made up, can be game recording. And there is a set game recording hotkey on Windows 10. So there's no real problem here at all. So listen, just set it up once and have the better experience. 5 minutes, better experience, better quality, just better in general. Do it, you won't regret it.
That's another thing. If you get some random thing loading or updating or just cranking on your PC's hard drive, your game can stutter, halt, or just crash because the PC always comes first, and the game last. Consoles don't get the blue screen of death. Then you'll do the dance of troubleshooting, closing running instances, Control-Alt-Deleting, and defragging your hard drive because you have malware or you spent too much time on consolechicks.com.
First of all, consolechicks.com is not a thing. I already know that. Plus, not to mention, excuse me, but have you ever read anything about defragmenting a disk? Because I can guarantee you, it doesn't get rid of malware at all. All it does is rearrange your hard drive so that everything's supposed to be where it's supposed to be. Imagine 3 colored blocks, okay? Red, green, blue. And in these red blocks, say you delete the red one, and the red one's pretty small, and you download a yellow one. Well, when you do this, it fills the space that the red one was in, and until there's no more. And then it goes on to the unwritten part of the disk that hasn't been touched yet, and it fragments, taking longer to load up. Honestly, I need to defragment my disk, because I haven't done it in a while. And you know what it'll do? It'll make my PC faster, because it doesn't have to look in so many places to find what it needs to launch an application. Malware is easy. I have AVG, and it works wonders. It's probably the best free antivirus that I've come across, because it's actually a free antivirus that the free version has active virus-like protection. You don't have to scan your computer for it to tell you there's a virus. No, if you download something and it detects it as being malicious, it will quarantine it. Usually it'll ask you if you want to quarantine it, but most of the time you do, because you don't know. And if you do, what the fuck are you doing? And that's it. Like, I don't understand why you think that it's so hard and that viruses are so, like, yeah, sure, you can get them kind of, not really easily. If you're smart about it, you will pretty much never get viruses. If you want something so bad that you'll just say, fuck it, let's just download something until I find something that's good, you probably will get viruses and quarantine them actively. It's not difficult to protect against, and it's not difficult to avoid. I don't see why people think that it is. Very simple, actually. So, I mean, I don't know what else you want me to give you on that topic, so we're just gonna move on.
All of this from a machine that will cost you a measly $400 over the course of 6 years.
Wow, $400. Very measly.
It will provide the same thing as PC gaming.
Except, mediocre in comparison and not very good.
Gaming. This is why I prefer console gaming. I have a nice PC gaming rig. I have about 12 really good games for it. But when it's all said and done, I want to have my main gaming experience on console where everything's in one place. This is Cole Eastwood. Thanks for sticking around long enough to see the end of this video, and please subscribe. It helps motivate me to bring you more content. I'll see you soon, and thanks again.
So there is something that I do want to say about that last little part. And that is that if you are going to make a discussion that bashes on PC or really involves PC in any way like that, then you're going to want to list your specs whether you think it's a douche move or not, because you think you're bragging about your setup. You don't have to worry about it being a douchebag move, because you're trying to bash on PC gaming, and we don't know how much of an experience you have. If you listed your specs, then, we would be able to tell how far you've delved into it. Plus, 12 good games for it? I mean, don't get me wrong, 12 good games is enough to tide you over for a long time. A few months, probably. No, longer than a few months. But it can really take you a long way, just 12 games. But let's be honest, I really think that you haven't experienced it enough. And you know what? You prefer console. That is okay. There's nothing wrong with you. liking console compared to PC. There's nothing wrong with that. There is something wrong, however, about spreading false information and misinterpreting things about PC that are not true and spreading the information for other people to find and to believe it. It's not okay to do that, but it's okay to like whatever you want. It's completely okay. I have no problem with it, and most people don't. Just please, stop lying, stop spreading false information, do some research before you start up your recording software, okay? Got it. Good job. By the way, your specs can't really be... By the way, most of the time, no, like I said in the beginning, you don't need an $800 PC to even compare with the PS4. You just need a measly mid-tier PC that's, maybe the same amount. And even if it was, say, 100 more, the price of the Xbox One when it first came out, it would still smash the consoles into the ground despite only being $100 more. And if $400 is measly to you, then another 100 or even double that would be a small amount, wouldn't it? If 400 is only measly? So I don't see what you're complaining about. And yeah, even just $100 more and you can smash it in. So there's that. But yeah, there was like a clip of some construction guy at the end that I'm just going to let you guys not have to cringe at. So yeah, have a good day, I guess. Good luck after seeing this video.